Okay, so we're gonna look at the hands. So I don't ever enter, and then my hand is good. My body, I'm gonna take out the stance, and the body lowers my hands. One more time, so. Boom. Boom. The body is lowering my hands. See it here. Boom. Now. Boom. Body move, then you lower your hands down. Body lowers. So my Irimi happens, and that's what lowers my hands. My shoulders never come into play, either up or down. I don't want that. So what it feels like to me is my hands stay here at this level. They don't change their articulation angle related to my shoulders. They stay here, and I move my body. Second point, and I'll demonstrate it again in this technique, but then I recommend using another technique to learn it. Here is where I have to cut the X line this way, not that way, because I'm not trying to accelerate him in the direction he's going. Do that same thing. So here's where I enter against this leg. So I'm going to do it slowly. Maybe move the camera over here. It goes across this leg. Do that same side again. Boom. I'm not accelerating him in the direction he's going. I'm not going this way. I go into his base here. So we'll put the camera here. And we'll take the arms out. And this is what I'm getting. This stop motion is not there, obviously, but you'll see me displace that leg. And that's what you're trying to do, because you're generating a topsy-turvy effect where you're hitting the two distal ends to start this topsy-turvy effect. Different from an acceleration throw where I just accelerate him so fast that he opts to take a roll. That's Federite culture. We're doing this topsy-turvy. So the two distal ends are made to rotate around a center, and that's what creates it. I don't accelerate one and hope the other one gets to the top. You have a force on the top and a force on the bottom. And so you always create that. So on this technique, we'll stay at this angle again, is my pushing is that force on the bottom that's making his leg come out as the spirals are making his head come down. So the best place to learn that, a little more simple, is just Koshunage from Tenkan. So I'll come around here, and there it is again, but it's on this side, on this leg, not the cross-lateral leg. So I enter, if he lets go, I'm going to enter to displace that leg. It's not a trip. In other words, I'm not here and trying to trip him. It's actually a displacement of my base by my base of his base. So we'll see the two variations. An acceleration throw, I throw in the same direction that he is, and I just lower his hand, and then he takes a roll by culture. In other words, he's athletic enough to just run out of it because there's nothing acting on his legs. Just by culture, Uke keeps his legs still, and then the head gets ahead of the legs, okay? And then they do a forward move. But if you're trying to throw someone, you're going to displace the leg as you do that. So this technique is the one I think you should use to understand the X pattern of Irimi. And same for your Uke, it's not so precarious. What you'll notice though is I actually have to have integrity of my own positioning in order to displace his. If I have a bad base, then I kind of bounce off of him. You don't want that. He bounces off of you. Okay, so that would be the X pattern. All right, I should add that if you use this drill to learn the X pattern, you can also work on your the fact that my stance lowers my hand, not my shoulder. I don't want articulation here in the shoulder, no matter how strong my lats are. I don't want that. So when you're doing this technique, I don't have my hand go down at the shoulder. It's just here. And the stance is going to lower the hand as I seek the base. Which is very common on this stuff to, you're up here, you're like, that kind of crazy crap, okay? So we use body unification. So you want your hand to touch the mat, you have to lower your body, then your hand gets near the mat, okay? Not this stuff. All right, tips on the forward roll. So on the X pattern, if we have this line right here on the mat, and that would be 12, this is 6 o'clock. On the X pattern, my head is gonna move rotationally towards 2 o'clock. And my feet will subsequently rotate up the circle towards 10 o'clock. My center is going to get projected in between those two, somewhere between 10 and 2, okay? And we need an ukemi that allows for that. So the head must rotate, in this case with left foot forward. The head must move towards this side of the mat. My back foot must move towards that side of the mat. And then when I'm only throwing myself, my hips will more or less stay on the 12 to 6 line. Okay? And then I can receive the X pattern. Okay? The only difference is there's no kokyu that's going to take my center and actually move it off the 12-6 line. It's just me. Okay? So I'll demonstrate first the Federite roll, which is where my head, my center, and my feet pretty much stay on the 12 to 6 line. Okay? So you do your Federite roll, and you just kind of roll that way. Do one more rep. And I roll more or less on the 12 to 6 line. When someone first learns of the X pattern and the forward roll that is capable of receiving the X pattern, what they tend to do is just do the Federite roll, in this case with left foot forward, to 2 o'clock. Because they know the head goes that way, but it's not rotating that way. They just realign to this. And so that, if you pay attention, I'll do it this way towards the camera first. On the regular Federite roll on this 12-6 line, the foot is forward. When someone takes the Federite roll and tries to mimic the X pattern receiving roll, they will always turn the foot. And now you just have a new 12 to 6 line. It's just over here, okay? And so if I'm doing it this way, they'll turn the foot, and then they do a Federite roll at the angle. This is what you're doing in the video, okay? So a drill that I recommend is to hang out in warrior pose and let the leg, which will naturally happen, the leg will move to its position. You maintain relationship through an organized center between the head and the foot. You maintain that relationship. And the head will move off, okay? So I'm going to demonstrate first warrior pose and allow my leg to go off, which it just does. So I kind of get to this 90 and you just kind of see that leg go that way. This is why we actually throw people this way. This is the natural taking of balance. That's what's going to happen naturally. So your drill would be, hey, hit warrior pose, and then release control, and allow the leg to do what it's going to do. Okay, so I'll demonstrate it one more time. Hit warrior, and you'll feel that leg want to go out. Just let it go out. When you're ready, another difference, let me say, because when you hit warrior pose, it's assumed your chest is up. In the Federite roll, your chest is down. It doesn't matter if I'm doing the Federite roll and I'm looking behind me, my chest is down. It's clearly not warrior pose, okay? So, I'm assuming your chest is open because I told you to do warrior pose, okay? And as you start to allow that to happen, you're now going to maintain the head and foot relationship, and then lower yourself. Don't roll from warrior pose. As you're losing your balance, you'll keep incrementally, almost like a hydraulic, keep lowering your knee and try to get it close to the mat, okay? And you'll see my head will come around this way, my foot will go that way, but my hips will more or less stay on this line, or even move a little bit to the left of the line in this case, as opposed to this way with a fed right roll at the angle, okay? So as I'm moving, I let that go, and I come out, and you see I go this way. We'll do it again. And I'm going to start lowering my knees so you can see what that looks like. And you can see that my roll is going to start slowing me down, not speeding me up like fed right rolls do. Okay, the back break fall. The first absolute no-no is never go down on the instep. Never, never ever. That's just gotta stop. Because we're gonna throw you for real. And the instep cannot support the weight. So it's a no-no. In most federite systems, uke is accelerated backwards, and uke, like that forward roll, just opts for a back break fall. They're not really thrown. But we're going to throw you, and you have to come from being in the air to touching the mat with something that can actually support that contact. And the instep is not it. So, always the ball of the foot. If you're learning the back break fall, we do this. We do what you were doing, where we try to accelerate ourselves or have someone else accelerate us, but we go down on the ball of the foot. So if I am accelerating myself, when I start running backwards, we do that. But I use it to address the fear of falling, not actually how to take the ukemi for the X pattern. So this is another drill for, let's learn the X pattern receiving back break fall. It's on the ball of the foot. And here's the drill I recommend. If you're by yourself, you're going to send your center forward, because that's going to happen in the technique. In the acceleration backwards, your center goes backwards, and you can lower it with your shoulders in front of your hips. That'll never happen in the back break fall. So as I am here, no matter how fast I go, as I start to go, you see that my shoulders are in front of my hips. Impossible when we throw you. So, shoot your hips forward as much as you can. Contract your center, which you will have to do in the X pattern receiving back break fall. And then find your ball of your foot. At this point, it's almost like a jump. But I'm not going like that because my center will come back again. My shoulders will come forward again. I have to squeeze my pelvic area to contract so that my center always stays forward of my shoulders. My shoulders in the same vertical plane will never be in front of my hips, never. This is one plane, shoulders in another plane. And they always stay in that relationship. That'll get you closer.